This is episode 388 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dio Morales, and this episode is called Gold Squadron Out. So today we're going to be having a candid conversation about why GSP has come to a slow halt, and as of today, we will be closing the book on Gold Squadron podcasts. The plan is I'm going to have a candid conversation with you all and just kind of give you the reasons why, some background. It goes a ways back to kind of understand where the seeds of the seeds of the end. It sounds so dramatic. Start, but I want to make sure you all know, just so you guys get an understanding. Some of you don't care, and that's okay. It does. Some of you do. So that's that. Then we're going to give a little bit of GSP history. Like, why not on our last episode, just kind of reminisce a little bit about the past. And I'm going to take some time also to say thank yous. And if I miss anybody, by the way, it's not for any, I'm not trying to snub anybody. I wrote out down as many as I could. I know I'm forgetting people, but just some time to do that, and then also talk about what's happening with the Patreon. So because that's probably going to be a question that pops up right away, so I want to hit that boom first. So the plan is I'm going to keep it active to pay for hosting fees and outstanding bills for Gold Squadron, because having a podcast that went on for 9 years at this point accrues a lot of costs, especially a lot of like data backups type of stuff, cloud fees, all those things. So all those things still need to be paid for, and I want to keep the podcast up as much as possible. But I'm being very, very candid here. We haven't put anything new out in a long time. We're not going to be going to tournaments anymore as Gold Squadron podcast. So, if this is the end of the road for you on Patreon, no hard feelings. Do what you got to do. My plan personally is, because it is connected to like my taxes and my social security number and all that, is I'm going to be converting it to just a Dion Morales Patreon, and you're going to get to follow my antics in the composing world and publishing and all that. And I know that this applies to a very few amount of people, but hey, if you're involved in music education, maybe you're a music teacher or you have a kid, or a friend kid or a niece or something who's, in band or orchestra or choir, my plan is to, as I feel like it, going to put up some music, some little previews, little tidbits, going to kind of use it as a diary. I haven't been using a lot of social media by choice, just because of some personal things in my life, but it feels like a nice way to just kind of keep people informed as to what I've been up to. Another reminder, again, if you need to quit the Patreon or want to, or you feel like, oh, hey, that's not the deal I made, please go vaya con Dios. It's okay. I'm not going to feel bad about it. The Discord I'm going to keep it open because it doesn't make any sense to shut it down, because there's people who meet and talk on there all the time. Now, there are definitely other places to talk about X-Wing. Shout out, by the way, to the team, putting together the community X-Wing Alliance, full support for them. Also, when it comes to streaming and all those things, I'm going to give a huge shout out to Nick Sperry. He's been doing an amazing job supporting the X-Wing Alliance and all of that has been happening. So my plan is, any of the connections that I have is going to, actually Nick doesn't know about this. So my plan is to basically give them his contact information, and I look forward to seeing the amazing things that he's going to do with you all in the X-Wing community. Nick's awesome. So I know it's going to be good. And how do we get here? To the end of Gold Squadron. So, if I were to be honest, the seeds of this of where we ended up started during COVID, and it was very, and I talked to Marcel and Will and Ryan, and James about this. I know that I have, but the amount of pressure that existed in myself. This is self-made pressure, but I put on my back the decision to try to keep people entertained, try to keep people positive. And I think we did an amazing job, the whole team. And that's not just me, everybody who was involved. It was a team effort. But I spent so many hours just trying for the people who needed an outlet for X-Wing and tournaments, the content, the videos, the tournaments, the prize support, all of that. Um, that was my reality, but it wasn't. It became unfun. And for people who know me really, really well, you know that um, my motivation comes from, am I having fun? Right? If I'm having fun, I will, I'll go to the moon for you. I'll do the hardest thing that I need to make it happen. But I didn't take care of myself, which was the mistake that I made. And X-Wing became a chore. And I, for years, tried to make that feeling go away. Many different ways, lots of private conversations of just trying to find that same passion and love that I had, that I was putting out there. And, you know, a conversation I had with my therapist was, I asked was like, was that fake? Was me putting on a smile and, you know, and the word's not really pretending to be like positive and happy about the things I was doing, but it didn't feel 100% genuine. Like, does what I did count? And the answer was, yeah, of course it counts. Think about all the people you affected, but it's hard to think of those times and say like, yeah, me and my team, we did that, and feel 100% good about it. And then the next kind of nail was when I attempted to do the Paint Wars, um, series, which was a major financial and time investment. That, to be completely honest, it was super fun. We got a bunch of really cool painted ships out of it. I know the painters had a great time, but internally, it was a nightmare. It was so much to manage. Things got lost in the mail. There's, and again, no fault to any of the contestants or people, but it just became too much, and we basically just had to abandon the project. And just because of the sheer amount of finances that went into that, it was just a major loss. And the amount of time, like, it was a bunch of time management to really get those episodes off the ground. And then unfortunately, it didn't work out, right? People didn't really watch the episodes like they were the streaming content for the games. So it didn't make sense to invest more time into that. But that was another, like, really, like, black mark in my mind personally. That really just, again, it was just another drag down. I wasn't having fun. I was having to worry about finances, and are we going to be able to go to this tournament, because I spent all this money on extra ships and shipping all the things. And then that was a whole other thing when we did these giant prize pools. You probably noticed, right, as the years went on, or as the tournaments went on, like, I tried to make the prizes less and less, because the sheer amount of work that was going into shipping things was ridiculous. In full honesty, like, there would be days where I would just spend, in weeks in my basement trying to pack things, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I was depressed, lots of tears. Thank God, Devin, my wife, she helped me when she could, but, we had to divide and conquer with our kids, and it wasn't pretty internally. I hid a lot of that because, as an audience, that wasn't your burden. But today we're being open and honest and candid. I had some great opportunities in the music world that I had been pursuing professionally, and those things started taking off. And huge shout out to Will and James, Marcel and Ryan for really picking up the slack. I told them, I was like, guys, I can't afford this time anymore. I don't have any time for my family. I need time to write, and they graciously took on the mantle for as long as they could. And we had some internal conversations, and we said, like, how long are we willing to do this? And things just kind of petered out, and I reached out to all of them and said, "Hey guys, I think it's time to close the books. You guys okay with that?" And as a team, we decided to do that. But with all that, did we have good times? We had amazing times together. Oh my god. Let's think about, let's again. This actually isn't even on my list. I was going to make this video a lot shorter, but like the amount of things that I got to do personally was amazing. The things that we did together as Gold Squadron podcasts and the community of X-Wing players, also amazing. I mean, we raised a bunch of money for the online campaign against cancer. GSP was a big supporter of the campaign against cancer when it was happening in person. So that was super fun. We raised like 10K and a little bit for One City Strings here in Chicago, which is amazing. Like they actually have a string program now, and it's super cool. We put on events, and the amount of amazing people that I met through X-Wing, it's unfathomable. You've heard it many times, and it's probably cliche by now, but the people is the best part of X-Wing. It really was. The community that we nurtured was great, and that is the thing that I miss the most. Very grateful for the outward things I got to do because of Gold Squadron. I got to circumvent the globe. We did a world tour. Do you know how crazy that is? That like we had this X-Wing world tour going. Like I still talk about it with people. People are like, "Where's the farthest you've ever traveled?" I'm like, "Well, here's a story." And being able to have that story is amazing. It was great. And the rallying behind amazing moments and some not so fun moments. It's still amazing. All that's amazing, but part of me misses the time when I was just an X-Wing player. And that was something that over time definitely wore on me, because it wasn't possible to just be an X-Wing player anymore. I had to be Dio Morales, host of the Gold Squadron podcast. So, I mean, with time, sitting behind the microphone instead of playing, and focusing on creating great content instead of playing, I felt like I became out of touch with the game. I could talk about the game and I understood things, but actually like table time, which is really what matters the most, like what I became disconnected from the game, the thing that I fell in love with, right? Losing 87 games before I won the first one, because of just how interesting I found the mechanics of the game. Like that says a lot about just the game in and of itself. I have our podcast notes all the way back to episode 1, which is crazy. It's over 2 Google Docs, and it's just cool to just scroll through and just be like, wow, look at all the things we touched on. There's lots of inside jokes in there, and information, screenshots, copy pasting things. It's to anybody except the people who were on that ride who could see that document. It just looks like a hot mess, but I mean, it's a history of, I mean, what amalgamation of time is that, right? It's interesting. But GSP started with myself, and shout out to the Longies. So this is Ron Longy and Andrea Longy. Ron was the first one I went to. I was like, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So we did. It was out of our store, Pastimes, which shout out to Pastime, because again, that was the home store. I still consider it my home store, even though I don't have time to play anymore. And I'm not even sure if people play X-Wing there anymore. Like that was home. And they allowed me to stream there, let us like pre-order ships, so that we always had them right away. They would stay open late on release days so that we could, record League Night. Shout out to the Gold Squadron, the team, which I'll shout them out individually here in a sec. That just like was willing to just participate in that and be like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll play on stream, not a big deal." So that was awesome. Mike Jones joined the podcast for a little bit, and then after that was Marcel. which obviously Marcel's been around. He's the second longest tenured GSP member. And it was after he won. Like, we had connected during tournaments because, like, hey, you're Latino, I'm Latino, we should be friends. It's basically what happened, to be honest. And after he won the national title at Gen Con is when I had asked him to be on the podcast. So, and then for a bit, we had our friend Nate Moore, who was part of the Gold Squadron for a long time. He was on the show for a bit. And then some names that if you're a more modern listener, probably recognize. That's when Will joined the crew. I met Will at one of the system opens, and we just hit it off, man. Like, it's something about his energy. It just fit. It was like, this is a cool guy. And we helped him out going to pay for his Coruscant trip. And he was repping GSP there, and it built a friendship. Eventually asked him to join the podcast. I don't know how I asked, but he did. And then for a long time it was myself, Marcel, Will, and then Nate. So then after a little bit, some shuffling happened. Nate left us, and we picked up some other friends along the way. In different ways. We'll get to like the externals, but for the podcast, we ended up adding on Ryan Staniszewski and of course James Ritter. Now that's over a giant span of time. Those are some pretty significant jumps. Ryan was a host for a podcast called OCX, which went defunct. I mean, OCX never dies, right? You OCXers, I'm sure. But their podcast ended, and I immediately reached out because I had always hit it off with Ryan. He was a great analytical mind, and I was like, hey, do you want in? And it was awesome to have him as well. And then James started helping with just like he reached out to me. He was like, hey, is there some way I could help you with stuff? And I was like, yeah, here's some stuff you could do. And eventually asked him to be on the podcast, and it was super fun. Like we hit it off. He was another great voice. And for a long time, Marcel, Ryan, Will, and James, they knew me better than anybody, which was amazing. Like, I consider them, they're my brothers. Like, I will always care for them. Some other friends that helped us along the way with various things. Shout out to Jonah Piscani. He helped us organize a lot of things with the Galaxies tournaments that we put on, a lot of logistical things. Another just amazing soul reached out to me. Was like, hey, you're doing cool stuff. Can I help? Just amazing. Shout out to Luke Carrington. He did the paint cast for a long time. That was a ride. It was super fun. He did a lot of cool work for us, and it gave him an outlet to make amazing work. Amazing art. Excuse me. Nick Sperry. Right. That was, his first kind of foray into X-Wing media stuff. He started helping us out with various things, graphics, and just another positive soul. Shout out to Corey Heald, who designed our most recent logo, the logo that most of you guys know and think of, the helmet logo and all of that branding. That was all him, out of the kindness of his art. And also the Galaxies planets as well were designed by him. I mean, just an amazing artist who was like, here you go, out of the kindness of his heart. It was just like, here. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. And like, that logo is part of my life forever. Like, it's pretty amazing. So that's a shout out, Corey. Just iconic. It really became iconic. It's funny, the font that we use for the logo, it's called Ethnocentric. When I see it in other places, because it's a public font, like anybody can use it. When I see it in other places, it's weird. It's weird. There's a car place in town here in Chicago that uses it as their font. And whenever I see it, I'm like, there's like a mental dissonance. I was like, excuse me, that's the Gold Squadron font, not your car detailing place. Shout out to Will Sanders as well, who helped us with that world tour. Would not have been possible without him either. He works for United, and just worked some of his magic to make that experience possible financially for us, but also more comfortable, which was also amazing. Now I think I got everybody. on the GSP hosts list or folks with names. And if I miss somebody, I'm so sorry. Trust me, it's not for any reason outside of whoops. Oh my God, Jason. There you go. I got you, Jason. Shout out to Jason. Like he also known as Grimwolf. Like I feel so lucky to have met so many kind souls, like people who are just innately good people, at least in my experience, who are just like, I got you. What do you need? I love it. Absolutely love it. He's been a great, just like moderator on Discord, on Facebook, on the stream, on Twitch. Just he's been amazing. I I can't thank him enough. Really, has just been a positive soul. Just a great example of a good person. When it comes to big supporters, probably our three biggest supporters over the time it all started the first one was Isophane, Daniel Lim. Like, I mean, just legend. I still have the piece of paper that was I had scotch taped it to my bookshelf when I was up in that room in my old house. Um, I mean, it just floored me, absolutely floored me. He made $1,000 donation, and I was in for a ride after that, and just developed a great relationship with him. I stayed at his house during one of the legs of the world tour, I believe, or maybe it was just one of the tournaments we did. I don't remember, but just amazing. The other one, Kellyanna, another one where I'm pretty sure I've always said that wrong, but it's a character from one of his favorite books, which he did send me, and I'm forgetting about the book name. And it's in my, so by the way, if you guys wonder, like, where are you, Dion? Currently living in my mother's house. We have a weird moving situation. My wife and kids were here. We'll be back in our house soon. Don't worry about it. We're okay. Everything's safe. But that book is on. I have like a set of books like to read, and it's in order. I think it's like the third book in my line of books to read, because he sent it to me. He's like, hey, this name comes from this book, and it's my favorite book, and I sent it to you. So I haven't read it yet, but it's on the to-do list. And then also shout out to Lan Bolo, another just legend, huge supporter, positive, and someone who I've always appreciated how deeply he thinks, and is willing to share his wisdom. He's lived a great life. I've seen a lot of things. So it's just been kind of cool to just be his friend and learn things, and also be supported, and see him having some fun doing his trench runs, his bombing runs. So thank you, all three of you. And then just everybody who's been a Patreon, you given a Twitch donation. And if you gave, I appreciate you. Thank you. There's no other words really to say for that. Like, it has been a crazy ride. The amount of miles that we've flown and driven, and the equipment we've been able to purchase and all that, like, none of that's possible without y'all. So that's cool. I want to shout out to the Gold Squadron, the ones that helped us, that helped me get into the game, right? Because I started coming to Pastimes, and these are the friends who I played with, and we got to learn how to play X-Wing together and got really good. James, I know some of you guys, I'm not gonna say last names. You guys know if you're you. So James, not James Ritter, other James, James Sanjurjo. So there's James. There's lots of Johns. Chemistry John, truck driver John, teacher John, Darwin, Kayla, Carrie, Lysander, Nick Tobin. Now, some of these folks are just people who are in town who weren't officially part of Gold Squadron, but we play a bunch. Tim, Jack, did I say Al already? Brandon, awesome, love you guy. Omar, Francois, Elliot, Sam, Sharky, aka Sharky. But I mean, you guys are the ones that come to mind right away. And if I miss somebody, I'm so sorry. It's not because I hate you. It's because It's been a long time. We also have our podcast brethren, right? So shout out lists, everything from um, like, hey, you inspired us, to thanks for doing cool stuff with us. Thanks for being a part of the community. Um, so here we go. Shout outs to Nova Squadron Radio, Scum and Villainy Podcast, Cloud City Radio, The Kessel Run, My Knox Squadron, aka Fly Better, if you didn't know that. Back to Dials, Stay on Target, 312 Company, Echo Base, The Crates, Fool Squadron, Firestorm, Hit Hit Crit, The General Canoobies, and everybody else who I forgot. That's the list that I could think of off the top of my head without having to do a bunch of research. But I mean, everybody from all of those places, we did amazing things together. I think my favorite like Avengers Assemble moment, if you remember, it was Worlds. I think it was Worlds 2019. Was it 2019? It had to be. Where we did the GSPN, where we had we were like switching between tables and we were recording 4 games at once. Shout out there. It was Echo Base was helping us out, plus some of the crates, plus Asa from Back to Dials. Like it was just this big team effort. I had to like rent an SUV to bring all the stuff. It was so much. Shout out to the X-Wing team at the time from FFG that allowed us to do this. I mean, it was so much stuff. And I think streaming wise was my like greatest feat, was being able to pull that off. But man, that was hard. it was a no, shout out also to Fly Better folks. They helped us out. I mean, everybody who commented that day, Darren, you too, buddy, because they know if I don't mention him, he's gonna say something. I mean, it was just it was amazing. What happens now? I'm still full of joy. I'm still a positive person. Gold Squadron would have never been possible without my wife, Devin. Full support. I mean, I it can't be understated how amazing of a partner, of a wife she is. Um, because without her, none of the things I did would have been possible. Without her love and support, um, people would sometimes joke permission, but it was never permission. It was, agreement that, go ahead, go do what you got to do. And also my daughters, Arwen, my oldest, Gold Squadron existed in some way, shape, or form since before she was born. Like it really like took off and got started when she was not even 1. Um, so the amount of time I had to spend away was tough. But I know it's a small thing. She's very happy that I'm not traveling as much as I used to. I still travel for music things, but it's not nearly as much. And for now, Alara, my littlest one, she's 3. She'll never know or really understand what this whole Gold Squadron thing was until she's older, and I maybe talk to her about it, or her sister brings it up and they kind of talk about it. But Gold Squadron is a major chapter in the story of Dion, and it's a major chapter in some of your lives, or just X-Wing is a major chapter of your lives. And maybe, me talking about closing everything down is painful for you, and I'm sorry if that is the case, because that's not the intent. But it needs to be done. So like I said, Discord is going to stay up. The YouTube channel will stay up. The podcast will keep it up as long as we can. But a lot of the modern episodes are up in video form, so they'll live on. The audio podcasts probably has a timer on it. And we'll, assess as we go on. But thank you again to everybody. This isn't easy, but it's got to be done. So for 9 years of amazing times, stories that I get to tell my grandkids and memories that can never be taken away. Thanks for listening. Be smart and be safe. Gold Squadron out.